What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I thought I'd bring you a look at all of the upcoming products between now and July. So these are on the official Yugioh-card.com/EU. This is the best place to see any updates to date releases and everything else in between, as well as fully confirmed products and when they are coming out. So you can see just off the base of it, there are 6 products to come out between now and July. There might be more that get added in the time being, but this just gives you an idea of what type of products and dates you need to be saving for your calendar in order to pick them up. So let's start off with the first of the new products coming out, and that's going to be on the 9th of April. A massive, massive moment for Yu-Gi-Oh! On this one, and a massive history changer. So this is going to be the first time in Yu-Gi-Oh! History that we will receive extended art cards. There's actually 10 extended art cards in this all foil set with a bunch of amazing reprints and exclusive artworks that you can see on the screen in front of you with kanji and just general English language with stuff like Crossout Designator shouting "No!" and then Trishula shouting "Yes!" These are really, really fun cards, and I can't wait to see them in person to see where the white is, whether the white is just like a foil mirroring, and if so, they'll look really, really kind of cool. Then as you carry on down, this is where you'll see the first extended arts in Yu-Gi-Oh! So to date, we only know 6 of the 10 extended art rares. So on these ones, we know that aren't pictured below, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon and Super Polymerization. Then on top of that, we already can visually see Wake Up Your Elemental Hero, Shooting Quasar Dragon, Dominus Purge, and Kurikara Devena Carnot. So down here as well, when you check this out, you will be probably be able to understand this a lot more. But it basically shows that in each pack you start off with, you'll get a super rare, 2 ultra rares, a possible another ultra rare, and then a secret rare which has a 1 in 4 chance to become a platinum or a starlight, which means you should be getting on average 6 starlight rares / platinum secret rares in your boxes. Really, really good set. Like the Rarity collection, all the way back from Rarity Collection 1, has always been like a mainstay staple in the calendar year. It's just like absolutely incredible products for amazing reprints. And speaking of reprints, we have already got confirmed that there will be Chaos Angel, Kashtira Fenrir, number C104, Umbral Horror, and of course the Memento Telekin combined creation, alongside a host of other reprints for this set. So then we move into the next month. So when we move into, well, not even the next month actually, towards the end of the month, we do get the Legendary Modern decks. Now these were unfortunately delayed for us here in Europe. Basically there was a printing error that printed 4 of a single copied card. And the whole idea of these decks is that they are playable, ready to go directly from one box. So that kind of made them an illegal deck to play. They couldn't be played that way. So it had to go back through the reprinting process. But this, just quite like the Legendary 5Ds deck, will give us 3 decks, one in the form of Sky Strikers, 1 in X-Sabers, and 1 in Mitsurugi. Now, we've already seen how good Sky Strikers can do at the UK Open, and you're pretty much going to get everything you need in this set. Then you look at Mitsurugis, and again, we already know how powerful Mitsurugis are, and it's just a deck that everyone will now have ready availability to. Then you look at X-Sabers, like it's about time X-Sabers got some support. I'm not saying that they're going to be on the same level as Mitsurugis and Sky Strikers, but the new line of support for this deck is going to be really, really good. And it kind of gives you a bit more of an additional understanding and edge for the deck. It might even be something that does quite well in Genesis, and you warm it up there and then develop it a little bit further on down the line. So not much more really needs to be said about the Legendary Modern decks. We already know what they are. They kind of should have been out a little bit ago, but delays happen, and this is what you're going to be looking for. You do get, I believe it's 10 promos. So you should be getting a promo card in every... Yeah, there you go. 1 of 6 from the deck with a bonus chance to upgrade to a Starlight Rare. Now, I'm pretty sure from the American openings we've seen that a lot of Sky Strikers have got Starlight Rares. I'm pretty sure I saw the Amarasa. I've seen the... Habakuri, sorry. But then there is the alternative artwork for Ray. There's also the alternative artwork for Shizuku and the Camellia as well. Have also come in Starlight Rares. And then I think there's 1 X-Saber. So I think there's 3 Starlight Rare. I even think this one's also a Starlight Rare, to be fair, as well. The one in the middle. So I'm not too sure exactly what the Starlight Rares are, but it says a 1 of 6. Maybe that's a little bit different. But, you know, you kind of get the idea of it. Then we move on to the next core set of the year, this one being Blazing Dominion. So this one comes out on the 7th of May. So literally the sneak event will be 1 week after the Legendary Modern decks come out. Then we get the sneak event for Blazing Dominion, and this set is looking absolutely incredible. So this gives us loads of cool support for Red Dragon Archfiend, which is one of my favourite decks. So that's going to get a very nice, powerful buff, whether that just be directly Red Dragon Archfiend cards, a Crimson Blader card as well, but then you've also got the Red Resonators and then just classic Jack Atlas card upgrades. You move a little bit further down, it's also got confirmed like Train support. So Train and Infinitrax can utilize these cards, and they are looking really, really fun. So it kind of helps you like turbo out rank 10 Earth monsters, and it just kind of gives Trains that next level of buff that they've been looking for. As we carry on down, also the fan favorite of Fairy Tales are going to be getting a full art type now. So we currently have like 3 Fairy Tale monsters to my knowledge, whereas now we're going to be getting like a fusion spell, I think it's a fusion monster, but it might just be a spell, equipped spell card. There's like a dark version of Fairy Tale, and then some other kind of cool cards to bring them to life a bit. On top of that, we do also get a new Solemn Trap card, which is going to be really, really awesome as like a generic card to be utilized. And I believe that this is going to be the last core set before we start to introduce extended art cards in core sets. So as you can see, this will follow the previous lineup of 25 cards will be available as Starlight Rares, which is usually the 14 Ultra Rares, the 10 Secret Rares, and then 1 additional alternative artwork as a Starlight Rare. Then we move on to Battles of Legend Glorious Gallery. Now this is on the 4th of June, quite like Rarity Collection 5. This is going to be the second set to bring us extended art cards, and we already see quite a few of them down here. So you can see there's Dragon Master Magia, there's Chaos Angel, Borrel Dragon, Dominus Impulse, and then in the text up here as well, you can also see that it includes Red Supernova Dragon. So you've got another 2 more down here being the Spirit Charmers and Zark. So straight off the bat, we know 7 out of the 10 for the extended art cards on this set. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see. We also get more chibis, and if you actually look at the pack art straight away, you can see Tour Guide, Lagia, Dark Magician Girl, and then you've got Shien, Summon Skull, and Vampire Lord, or Zombie Lord, I believe it is. And as you carry on coming down, you can see that Exodia, the Forbidden One, is also another one that's going to get a chibi print, and there's going to be 10 of those. And again, we know 7 of those 10 to date. Then you look at some of the reprints that are going to be providing us. So you've got the Anontelis, you've got Shooting Majestic Star Dragon, Adreas, Armades, Trius, you know, all of those are going to get nice upgrades and reprints as well. And as you carry on down, you'll also see that we're going to be getting the new support for Shadow's, Constellas, even the Hero Monster, which is the Masked Hero Fountain. Plus it then says, don't miss out on a Surprise Fusion. Miss out on Surprise Fusion, a spell card that's full of surprises. Oh, and there you go. Also matching chibi-like artworks for El Shadow Construct and Constella Ptolemy M7. So that puts us on 9 out of 10 chibi artworks that we now already know. And each pack is 1 Secret Rare and 4 Ultra Rares. I'm not too sure. There should be, some of these should come as Starlight Rares. That's pretty much what the previous Battles of Legend have followed. So some of these will come as Starlight Rares as well. Then moving on, before we get to the final pack or the final like booster that you're going to want to know of between now and July, but 4th of June is that one. One of the biggest changes that we're going to receive is a change to the tournament packs. So at current, we receive what are called OTS packs, and we're currently on OTS 30. So that's all going to get changed, and it actually changed in a massively positive way. So it now goes from OTS to UTP, which is the Ultimate Tournament Pack. Now, what's going to happen on this one is a OTS is usually a set of 50 packs in a box, and of those boxes you would get 3 Ultimate Rares. You can only earn them by going to your local tournaments, and they're given out as participation prizes and sometimes as a Top Cut prize. So they've announced in here that the number of Ultimate Rares are going to go from 3 to 6, so it doubles up the amount of Ultimate Rares in that set. Then it also says here to keep the odds of getting a specific Ultimate Rare the same, they've also doubled the insert rate. So it should be twice as likely to pull these Ultimate Rares with double the amount available as well. So if it follows the previous setting of 50 packs, rather than 3 out of those 50 packs being an Ultimate Rare, 6 out of those 50 packs would be Ultimate Rare. They've given an example of how it wants to show. I'm not too sure how well this will show on the screen catcher here, but basically there's like these detailed etched lines that you'll see here, and they're basically referring to it, taking Dark Magician of Chaos as an example. The background etching radiates from the point of his staff, the entire ring, and then be carefully traced, etched to different colors. So it's bringing it back to the old school Ultimate Rares that we used to have before this, which is a massive step, and I'm assuming this artwork is confirmation that Dark Magician of Destruction is going to be in there, which is actually really relevant for the next core set that we're going to get shortly after. On top of that as well, each tournament pack will feature 4 new variant art versions of popular cards. These variant art cards will be available in 4 of the set's 14 super rares, so going up from 10 super rares to 14. In addition to that as well, Lost Art cards will also become part of the tournament pack. So each tournament pack at the moment will have 2 Lost Art cards as super rare upgrades as well, which is really important, because then it means that, you know, we've already increased the super pool from 10 to 14. So it's technically going from like 10 to 8 because you get the 2 Lost Art, but the Lost Arts could be cards that you would have normally got as a super rare reprint anyway. Then there's a mention here of building blocks for new players. The whole idea is that you want to be able to make sure that these cards that we're getting reprinted in commons and supers are going to be relevant and not like for different formats. So also you can see that the commons in the set are going from 14 to 30, which means there's more commons to be achieved, which hopefully means that there are more chase-worthy commons in the set. Like usually with an OTS pack, there's sometimes a lot of commons are actually quite worthwhile. So just as a bullet point at the bottom down here as well, they've also introduced Ultimate Tournament packs versus winner packs. So there will also now be winner packs. You've got a bit more advantage or like benefits for finishing first or in the top 4. So it says here, participation prizes will be your Ultimate Tournament packs with the 50 card set, 6 Ultimate Rares, 14 Super Rares and 30 Commons. The winners pack are only for winners at weekly store tournaments, top 4 at an OTS championship and a top 16 at a regional, which is actually really important because currently if you were to get into the top 2 at a OTS championship, you would get an invite each and the first place would get a mat. Third and fourth would get nothing, whereas now they're going to get a stamped card. The top 16 at a regional, again, the top 8 is usually how it will work, and those top 8 at the base minimum, the top 4 should be receiving invites plus mats plus deck boxes, and then the 5th to 8th will receive mats and an invite, whereas now it extends to the top 16, so additional 8 prizes for the additional 8 players. This will be a completely separate set. It's a 40 card set, all ultra rares, but it has 3 different logo versions: OTS, regional, and judge. So what they mean by these logos is it's quite like the 25th anniversary watermark on cards. It's also like last year's Battles of Legend, where you had the Orcus logo, the Punk logo, and the Dragon Maid logo on the card. So you'll have something like that will say have the OTS logo, which I think actually looks really cool. I like the logos and how they look. There's only going to be 1 card in the pack. It's a 40 card set, but it's high demand tournament cards with those printed logos on them. So they could be quite valuable. They could also be very useful cards to utilize. And then we move on. So this is going to come into effect as of the 18th of June, which is the week after Nationals. So it's quite a nice way to end off the kind of national season and then move into the new season. And then finally, we've got the Chaos Origins, which is the next core set of the year. This is going to be the first core set to include extended art rares, and it's kind of gone back to the old school box art where you've got Yugi with a monster there. So this one is going to focus around Dark Magician of Destruction and Black Luster Soldier, which makes sense as to why Dark Magician of Destruction is being printed as an ultimate rare in the tournament pack a few weeks later. As you carry on down here, this will tell you all the details in regards to the Black Luster Soldier and the Magician of Black Chaos, like can't be destroyed by battle, grabs a spell from the graveyard, and so on and so forth. Also see that we get upgrades to like Summon Skull, Celtic Guardian, and Karibo with the Griffor. Now, these are all specifically around about how you can ritual summon the 2 ace monsters. So it is going to be less focused in their own individual decks, more focused on how they can enhance the access to your Black Luster Soldier and Dark Magician of Chaos, which is really kind of cool if you're a massive Yugi fan, but then it hopefully paves the way that we're going to get support for these decks in the future as well. Carrying down, you also see that we have Revenge of the Sacred Beasts. So the artworks look incredible, and we're going to be getting more support for the Sacred Beasts, following on from the structure decks that they got a good few years ago now. On top of that as well, they're actually really good for, I think Bell decks can utilize these, and so can Dark Worlds, which is going to be amazing. a new Creation Lord as well. And then you've got some of these, like, look at these artworks. Like, look how menacing that is of the Ultimate Lord looking at like one of the, I think it's Armor Tile, or that might be Uriah overlooking Wing Karibo. And then on the left-hand side, you've got Avion being blasted out of the sky by Uriah, which is devastating. Carrying on down, we also get the brand new Police Fleekle. But they're basically a Thunder-based art type that summon themselves from the hand. Yes, of course, you could technically go into Colossus, but there are some of the cards in the art type that will lock you into only special summoning from the hand, so you can't actually access the extra deck. But it's looking like a really fun art type. The next one, which is a world exclusive, is going to be the chess deck. Now, I really like this. I think this deck looks really, really fun. So in a booster set dedicated to the King of Games, we just had to include a theme dedicated to the world's oldest game, being chess. The big floating chess board is a field spell. And then you've got the king, the rook, the knight, and the pawn. Now, these are all extra deck monsters. These are all synchros, which is what I think is really, really cool. So I'm just going to read this out for you. The chess theme is one of those rare themes that does not have any main deck monsters. Instead, it has spells, traps, and synchro monsters. It also works heavily with placing its monster cards into its spell and trap zones. There are currently 4 chess monsters. King as a level 10, rook as a level 8, knight as a level 7, and then with plenty of attack points, and then a pawn of a level 2, which is also a tuner. All synchro monsters here, and this is how it works. Now, what I would have loved this to have been is I would have loved the pawn to have broken, like, to make it really unique of how pawns work in chess. I would have loved for the pawns to have a little bit of text saying you can include as many copies of this card in your extra deck as possible. So it means you could play 15 in your extra deck, not that you would. But I just like the idea that you could technically play like 5 copies of the pawn. Would be really, really kind of cool. So the chessboard field spell lets you summon a level 2 chess piece, which will be the pawn directly from your extra deck each turn, and place a chessman from the extra deck into your spell and trap zone. Except for the pawn, chessmen have effects that activate when placed into the spell and trap zone. The knight adds a chess spell from the deck to the hand, the king adds a trap from the deck to the hand or graveyard, and the rook sort of castle to place a king from the extra deck into your spell and trap zone. While they're sitting in the spell and trap zones, they also have extra abilities. The knight does 500 burn damage to your opponent each time they activate a card effect, which is like, ugh, a little bit degenerate, but okay. The king limits your opponent to just 5 monster effects per turn, which I don't think is that bad these days. Like, more times than not, you should be able to out the king, but it does seem like the deck's moving into a control state. And then on top of that as well, the rook protects all your chess cards from being destroyed by your opponent's card effect. So if you've got sends, returns, you name it, they'll be able to out them. While they're monsters, each chessman can banish another card from the field, generally an opponent's monster. And if the pawn uses this ability, it gets promoted by crossing over to your opponent's field, returning to your extra deck, and special summoning any chess piece from your extra deck. There's only one way to special summon your that's only one way to special summon your non-pawn chessman. If a chessman monster card you control is destroyed, even into the spell and trap zone, the chessboard field spell lets you return any chessman from your spell and trap zone to the extra deck. Then immediately special summon it, and it's a second way to special summon your non-pawn chessmans. Chess pieces have no special summoning restrictions, and you can also synchro summon them like any other synchro monster. They've also got, these artworks look absolutely incredible, by the way. Just like how chess has special opening moves, so do the chessmen. This special trap card, which is massively important, places a chessboard field spell from the hand, deck, or grave to the field to get you started, and special summons a level 2 or 7 chess, pawn, or knight to the extra monster zone. And it also places a chessman from your extra deck into your spell and trap zone, and if it needed another effect, if your opponent goes first, you get to activate the trap card from the hand during their standby phase, which I think is absolutely incredible because it limits it to the standby phase, which means if you play draw cards, you can't utilize it. Yeah, really, really kind of cool. And then there's another cool world premiere card, which is a level 8 tuner, but it's not a chessman. You get to special summon it from the hand if there is a synchro monster. You can special summon this monster from the hand if there is a synchro monster in your field or graveyard. And when summoned, you get to place 3 different synchro monsters from your extra deck and graveyard into your spell and trap zones. You can also get a bonus token monster with a level equal to the number of synchro monsters you place. So it's not directly a chessman card, but it looks like a chessman card, and it probably plays best with the chessman. But you can kind of see how good it is. Then when we're looking down here as well, as an extra special bonus, this monster is available in Chaos Origins as an extended art card. And you can see down here, now what's being changed for this core set is that 20 cards are available as Starlight Rares. But 5 cards are going to be available as extended art rare, ultra rares, and starlights, which I would still assume that the 14 ultra rares, the 10 secret rares, and then 1 additional card will come as starlight rares. But of those, 5 of those will be extended art cards instead, which is pretty amazing. So that's it for all of the products coming out between like now and July. So we will do another update once July comes around, but just mark the date, 2nd of July for Chaos Origins, 18th of June for your Ultimate Tournament Pack, which is going to be a refresh of your local environment. The 14th to 16th, I believe it is, of June will be Nats. And then we've got the Battles of Legend on the 4th of June. We've then got the 7th of May being the Blazing Dominion. Legendary Modern Decks being the end of April, or like penultimate week of April. And then the next one you're going to want to keep your eyes on is going to be Rarity Collection 5. So as I said, you can check out all of these products on Yugioh-card.com. Mark the dates of the ones you're going to be interested in, and make sure you know what might change in the format in your local environment with these particular sets. For now, as absolutely always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.